Good. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. It's a full house, and tonight is pitch night, and we are going to listen to 5 extraordinary women who are going to pitch us their ideas and their business. And we just had a little drink upstairs, and we talked with some of the people who did pitch night the previous years and all the wonderful things that happened to them. So women are all about solution and seduction. Women always somehow, even in the most submissive woman in the world, there's a fire in the house and the woman takes over. The kids, the jewelry, the children, she takes over. And so she always somehow has the solution. And then she has to use seduction. And seduction is not showing your legs, although if you want to, you can. It's really about somehow selling your solutions and making people believe it's theirs. And that's what I think women know how to do very well. So anyway, so we are going to listen to wonderful women who decided that they're going to get it together and do it. Like all of us, we keep on inventing ourselves to design our lives. And it's important that we stick together and that we don't forget that we always underestimate the enormous power that each one of us has, you know? And that is really, right now I'm reading the biography on Elon Musk. Now, he's certainly not a woman. And I am not making any whatever on him. However, reading the book, it really shows you how much power each individual has. And it's really important for us to know that, you know, it really is. Because, so the most important thing, 2 things, to be true to ourselves, because if we're true to ourselves, we are free. Even if we're in jail, we are free. And that the most important relationship in life is the one we have with ourselves. Once we have that, any other relationship is a plus and not a must. And, you know, so now I want to introduce you a wonderful woman. She is the CEO of Vital Voices, which is a great, wonderful organization, network, population of badass women who get shit done.
Thank you, Diane. Whoa, thank you. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to our 6th annual DVF We Empower Pitch Night. I see some of our past We Empower awardees in the audience. Can I ask you all to stand? I think Yatunda is here. Danielle is here. Woohoo, Leah. Excellent, excellent. You're going to hear a little bit more about the impact of this incredible program. So thank you all so much for coming this week. I know it's a crazy week. It is a packed week. There are many other places you can be. We all know that world leaders are on the east side of the city talking about the myriad of problems. And you chose wisely tonight because you are on the west side. And here we are going to talk about solutions, but not just any solutions. Solutions that are pioneered, that are led by women. And what we know is if the world needs anything, yes, if the world needs anything right now, it is more women in positions where they can bring forth their solutions. So 7 years ago, when Amanda Ellis and I were talking about the SDGs, which Diane once reminded me sounds like a sexually transmitted disease, but regardless of that, she's like, what? Regardless of that, the UN Sustainable Development Goals, of course, are these 17 huge goals, the world's to-do list. Well, one of the things that we knew back 7 years ago, and Amanda's a judge tonight, one of the things we knew is that we're not going to achieve these lofty goals in 15 years, and this was from 2015 to 2030, unless we do things differently. It can't be business as usual, and it can't just be businesses, and it can't just be government or international institutions. We're going to tap the power of women entrepreneurs, women who see things differently, who see the problem and come up with the solution, and who serve and uplift their communities as a result. So fast forward, obviously 7 years later, we're now in our 6th, obviously, as I said, pitch competition and 6th We Empower cohort of 5 phenomenal women who are selected from all over the globe. And I know you probably, for those of you who've been at the United Nations this week, like I have, you've heard a lot of sports analogies because here we are, we're sort of 8 years in, we're at the halfway mark in achieving the goals. And all week I've been hearing, let's win it in the second half. Let's, the world needs a good pep talk in the, halftime. You know what? I think what the world needs to do is just pass the ball to women and the money. Come on. That's the answer. Pass the ball, but pass the money. Anyway, but that's what tonight is about. Now, tonight you will hear from some phenomenal women with great solutions. You'll obviously, as you hear in a minute, have an opportunity to vote. But first, I want to thank our partners who make all of this possible. Obviously, Diane von Furstenberg and DVF Studio. The fabulous Louisella Maloney is here, I know, who always makes all of this possible, and her team. Arizona State University Wrigley Global Futures Laboratory. Julie Ann Wrigley Global Futures Laboratory. P&G, I know Allison's there in the back. Thank you, P&G, for always coming back. Bank of Montreal, Match Group, Relics. Where's Relic? There you are. And we're going to hear from you a little bit later. Salesforce, Handshake, Grow Your Biz, UN Foundation, the World Bank, and Said Business School at Oxford University. So thank you so much to our partners. And now I have the great pleasure of passing the mic to a phenomenal woman who's going to be our MC for the evening to take us through these fabulous pitches. She is actually, from 2019, a WE Empower Awardee. And she is also the winner of the pitch competition back in 2019. So she knows a thing or two about these pitches and how this all works. She is a social entrepreneur. She's one of those badass women. I told you I'd work that in. That Diane was talking about. But Leah Lizarrando is the founder of Food Rescue Hero.
Thank you, Elise. So I am so happy to be here. This is such an exciting evening. This is the evening that changed my life 4 years ago, I always like to say. So I am happy to shepherd us through this event. So we're excited you're able to join us. We have some virtual people who are watching online. So you know tonight that we're going to be featuring solution leaders who are advancing, as Elise and Diane like to say, this UN Sustainable Development Goals, and inspiring entire communities to act to improve our world. So tonight, each of these women will deliver a short pitch, and you, our audience, both here and online, will get to vote on which awardee will win $10,000. So this is the evening where I feel like we're all splitting hairs because all of these women are amazing. And you have the tough job of having to rank, which is also, unenviable. So what's going to happen is that you're going to listen to their pitches, try to listen keenly for clarity and impact of their vision and, the feasibility of that vision. And tonight we're using what's called ranked choice voting. So this voting is basically you're not going to vote for one, you're going to rank. And the winner will be chosen based on the sums of those ranks. So if one of our entrepreneurs get the majority of the votes, they win. If not, the entrepreneur with the least votes is eliminated and the second choice for those voters receives the votes. So on stage with me is our esteemed panel of experts. And they are going to be able to ask our entrepreneurs questions after their pitch about mostly what their current plans are, their future plans, or whatever may come up. And we're excited to have three leading businesswomen joining us as experts. The first is Nikki Islami, founder of Wild Elements and New Theory Ventures and co-founder of Belami. Nikki. Former Ambassador Amanda Ellis, Senior Director of Global Partnerships and Network for the Julie Ann Wrigley Global Futures Laboratory at ASU at Arizona State University. Bozoma St. John, Hall of Fame inducted marketing executive, author, and entrepreneur. And of course, Diane von Furstenberg. All right, so our first pitch is a dancer, an author, a mother of two. Diana Umbogo is the founder and managing director of Millennium Engineers, a 100% women-founded and led social enterprise that specializes in renewable energy. So Diana's business supports SDGs 5, gender equality, SDG 7, affordable and clean energy, and 13, climate action. Please welcome Diana Umbogo from Tanzania.
It's a great honor, and thank you everyone for being here tonight. Born prematurely with only 700 grams, the doctors informed my mother that I had very little chance of survival. While family and friends pitied her for such a child, in her eyes, I saw myself as a princess, a warrior. Throughout my life, skepticism followed me like a shadow. With my tiny little body, and my big head, and my mother's smile, no one expected much from me. So I decided I can do anything. I learned to look where others aren't looking, where they have zero expectations. Millennium Engineers is 100% female-founded and female-led renewable energy company in Tanzania that specializes in untapped energy poverty markets. We design tailored business solutions for communities, industries, and value chains. Now, I'd like you to take a deep breath. While you let it out, picture a sun-kissed morning on the shores of Lake Victoria, where the waves tell tales of resilience and hope. Here, fishermen have toiled for generations, and the women traders meet them on the shores at dawn. These women spread out the catch on open land spaces or elevated platforms to dry. But during rainy seasons, the fish don't dry. 70% is lost to birds or washed ashore. And the 30 that remains rots. Fishing is a community effort, deeply rooted in tradition, but now faces climate challenges that threaten its sustainability and the livelihood of these communities. Their needs were whispered, their challenges were void. We worked alongside these communities for a period of 3 years to redesign this value chain. We are now, as of now, replaced 1,000 kerosene lamps and lead-acid battery lamps with efficient solar lamps that dance atop recycled plastic flotillas. This not only reduces the greenhouse gases from the kerosene and takes away the lead-acid batteries out of the lake, but it allows for the quiet growth of trees along the shores of Lake Victoria. Guess what? We didn't stop there. For the women, we pushed further. We designed the first of the kind across sub-Saharan Africa, sardine drying facilities. With only 5, we've been able to dry 6 tons of sardines in any given day. Do you know what it means to these communities? Do you know what it means to these women? They're earning 70% more yield during rainy seasons. They're getting a premium price for their produce. But it stretches further. It ensures food security in the region. Considering that sardines are the second largest source of protein in the continent. Women and men alike have embraced these innovations. It stretches to prove that the African dream is one of unity and progress. No one expected a women-founded and operated business in Tanzania to transition a traditional, you understand it, male-dominated sardine fishing industry into a model of modern, climate-adaptable, and mitigated. And yet, here I stand, my mother's daughter. Asante sana. Thank you.
So first question, why are you not a voice-over artist instead of, right? Or maybe as a second career? No, but that was brilliant. Thank you so much. question about the rot. So you said 30% of the fish that were harvested during the rainy season rot, while 70% go back out to sea, et cetera. What happens now during rainy season then?
During rain, can you hear me? Perfect. So right now, during rainy season, we still dry inland, in-house, because our drying facilities are allowed to dry during the rainy season and during the sunny seasons. So there is no fish that rots or left out in terms of post-harvest losses. Yes. And my voice, I'm planning to get on something.
Question. This is amazing. How can you take it to scale?
Thank you for that. Lake Victoria already accounts for 60% of all revenue in terms of fishing in Tanzania. While Tanzania has a whole coastline, all other water bodies, Lake Victoria alone accounts for 60%. We are only touching 2 areas right now with 2 of our industries, and only 1,000 lamps already distributed. How do we scale? Franchise. We don't even need marketing because the involvement of these communities, they do it by word of mouth. It spreads like bushfire. Wah, wah, wah. We don't invest in marketing, we franchise. We continue to work with the communities that brought the solutions and questions to us. And all we need is financing and partnerships to retain talent and grow our in-house team to teach. And that's the biggest talent we have. Teach and replicate. And we hope this solution can not only favor Lake Victoria, but can cut across several communities across sub-Saharan Africa. We have the same challenge across fishing communities. Thank you.
I think you are so addictive and inspiring. Like, I want you to keep talking. And I had the opportunity to speak to you a little bit before. And I think as a founder, you have a competitive advantage as you yourself. But I'm just curious, what else do you see as competitive advantages in what you're doing versus other things that might be in the same geographical location?
What I've seen past businesses in my community is they bring the solution and expect the beneficiaries or the customers to adapt. I don't believe in that. We always start, and that's how we thrive, is we start from the ground. We go to these communities. We don't go with answers. We go listen to the questions. And that's what makes a difference. Listen and talk last. So in real sense, I'm not an innovator. I only listen, go to the technology people, tell them about the problems I've listened. They tell me more. I take it back. I then take it, merge it, go to the financiers, spit it out, and then bring it back. So in real sense, that's what the world needs now. Problems are different in different geographical locations. And I am happy to continue to teach and explain our methods because I understand that once we do this way, sustainability is ensured. And that should remain our core. I repeat, our core value. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. We all know that whatever happens tonight, our next sleep story is going to be read by her. All right, so the next woman has been an entrepreneur since she was 8 years old. So she's been around the block a few times. So I'd like to invite Karine Senf, CEO and founder of Innovation, an educational lab focused on motivating and empowering the upcoming generation of entrepreneurs, innovators, and sustainability advocates. So our SDGs are 4, quality education, 5, gender equality, and 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Please welcome Karine Senf from Panama.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. I'm so happy. 2020, a year of challenges I need not name. But the story I'm about to tell you is about how challenge can spark creation and opportunity. A few weeks into the pandemic, my mind was racing. In Panama, a country in the midst of a profound education crisis, it became clear to me what Innovation could accomplish. Innovation is an educational lab for the 21st century. We accelerate talent by offering learning programs and innovation challenges for children and teenagers from 8 to 18. And 2020 confirmed our mission. We need to rethink, revolutionize, and reinvent education. We exist because schools do not prepare our youth for the challenges of this world. Our programs include a leadership and mindset components, and where I think the magic happens, a take action component. We bring learning to life when our students create their own projects to solve real life challenges. And from the beginning, we included the SDGs because when they understand the goals, young people find solutions everywhere. These are some of the innovations being generated by our students. There's an AI-powered marketplace that connects customers to eco-friendly companies. They have just signed partnership and funding agreements. There's a freestanding electric streetlight powered by the wind. They're patenting their design and have begun prototyping in Germany. There's a team that has written an algorithm to seek out the cheapest medicine in our communities, because Panama has the most expensive medicine in the region. So Innovation is already changing the education and entrepreneurship ecosystem in Panama. During the past 6 years, we've trained over 12,000 students, and we're expanding into other countries in the region. Still, I find myself thinking, we're already a quarter of the way into the 21st century. Are we doing enough to update our systems of education and give equal opportunities to all? No. Achieving the SDGs is the best hope for our planet. We need every generation working on them as soon as possible. Young people find solutions everywhere. They can be thinking, inventing, innovating, not in a decade, but now. Thank you.
Being in education, I have to jump in here. Yes. Such a valid point you made about education systems. So what would it take for you to go to scale across Latin America?
I love that word, scale, because that's exactly what we need to do with Innovation. We have understood along the years several pain points in our education system, because our education system, not only in Panama, but in our region, is in crisis. And one of those projects we want to carry out are innovation hubs, because we need to take this to the communities. Innovation hubs designed with learning, with innovative learning techniques, so that they become the center of the communities, and the students there can participate in pitching events. They can have access to maker spaces. They can collaborate. They can innovate together. Second, I have to mention the internationalization of our programs. Just for perspective, in Panama, out of 10 students that enter elementary schools, only 2 graduate from high school and 2 graduate from college. Yes, let that sink in. So we need as much ideas and innovative solution to solve that education crisis that we have. And I'm pretty sure that those ideas and those solutions are both in women and in the youth.
I'm not sure why I ended up with 2, but I will pass on. It's amazing what you've been able to do in such a short period of time. And the stats from the public schooling system are staggering. Yes. I guess my question would be, how do you work with the public school system in Panama to fill the gaps? Or do you have sponsorships or partnerships? And how do you look at that?
Thank you for that question. Our programs are relevant both to public and private system schools, okay? But of course, we work with the Sustainable Development Goals. We impact SDG 4, SDG 5, and SDG 9. So sustainability is at the core of what we do. So we live by our premises of leaving no one behind. And that means that out of the 12,000 students that we have in our programs, more than 60% of those students come from either rural areas or students from communities at social risk. Moreover, we also impact SDG 5, and that means bringing in more girls, because when we invest in women, we change the world, right? So we have made a conscious act to include more girls, and the beauty of it is that from 2018 to 2022, the ratio between boys and girls has changed this way. In 2018, we had 70 to 30 ratio boys to girls, and in 2022, we flipped it to 55 to 45. And how do we work with public system schools? We look for sponsors, we look from allies. We have made more than 100 alliances and partnerships to impact education in Panama. And we bring those foundations, NGOs, companies to sponsor students, and we then go back and offer those scholarships to students in the public system. That's one way. We also sponsor students on our own. We believe we have to do that. We need to ship in as well. This year we have sponsored around 300 students. And as the last point will be that we have signed a memorandum of understanding with the OAE, which is the Organización de Estados Iberoamericanos. It's an organization that helps and manages funds for the Ministry of Education, and we're now impacting students professors. So they're teachers, they're students that are going to become teachers, so that now they're going to bring innovative methodologies of teaching to the public systems. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Next up, we have Andy Blair. Andy is a co-founder of Upflow, a geothermal research and innovation company based in New Zealand that is dedicated to harnessing the vast potential of geothermal energy to provide intelligent solutions to global industries. She was also the president of the World Geothermal Association. Andy's organization supports SDGs 2, Zero Hunger, 5, Gender Equality, and 13, Climate Action. Please welcome Andy from New Zealand. Thank you.
Nā mihi nui kia koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. at Upflow, we want to inspire people to use STEAM to solve the world's most pressing problems. I mean that in two ways. One, STEAM, the acronym for science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. And two, STEAM, superheated water vapor. Don't worry, you'll get it. Upflow is a research and innovation company from the geothermal energy sector. Okay, so in English, that means that we take gifts from the earth and we build a bridge between science and the commercial world. Where solution is, we do the really hard, complex things that allows science to solve real-world problems. Two big problems: climate change and hunger. We're working with a Māori, Indigenous Māori organisation that owns geothermal assets. Now, Māori demand more than economic outcomes. Cultural, social, and environmental are equally, if not more important than dollars. We've sourced 2 microorganisms from their geothermal ecosystem. These bugs simultaneously eat greenhouse gases and produce single-cell protein. Yes, food. So what starts out as carbon dioxide and methane ends up as food. Right now for animals, but someday for humans. Now, I'm not going to say that it's easy. It's really hard. Our engineers and scientists are scratching their heads all day, every day, but they love it. I've always been the translator in between science, business, and community. I'm curious about people, and I'm curious about the world. I feel confident in the grey, in the space of uncertainty. I'm okay with being wrong. I'm okay with making mistakes, because we all know you have to be brave to try new things. And you have to be prepared to make mistakes in the innovation space, because it happens a lot. But being wrong is not the end. No is not the end. You just have to figure out a way to do it differently. Thank you. It's not easy raising funds for R&D. It's a risky endeavour. But the tough problems demand the most clever solutions and the most daring people to create them. So with your support, we'll keep solutioneering with STEAM both ways. Thank you.
This is not a question. I just want to tell you, this building is geothermal.
Oh my God, it's my spiritual home. Kia ora. Wow.
So how are you going to make food here? That's the question. No, I'm kidding. I think this is so fascinating, you know, especially given that many of us don't work in this space or use it every day. How will you make it more colloquial so that, you know, your description of sitting in the intersection of these very interesting things make us all passionate about what you're talking about, because it is a global challenge and not just one in where you're from?
I think the answer is sort of in the question that you just asked me. It's about where I'm from. I live in New Zealand, where geothermal is abundant. And when you live and look around yourself and see your resources, you think about solutions that are tied to those resources. What I do know is when we scale this project up, we're going to deploy it to some of the big consumer markets that also have geothermal, like China, like Indonesia, like Mexico, like the US. so many more. And then when that's in your country and you're eating it in your smoothie, you'll feel really connected to it too. So thanks.
So I love food.
Nice.
So can you tell me a little bit more about how that food is created and in terms of human consumption, how you would get there and by when and all of
so
that?
the two microorganisms work together, and the way they metabolize the gases creates single cell protein. It creates a biomass. That's just a whole lot of stuff. And in that is about 60% protein. And what's really, really cool about our protein is that it's full branch chain amino acids, which means it can compete with animal proteins. It's really good for cell growth, for muscle building, that sort of stuff, which is important to more people than we know. And then, but what we also know about the biomass, there are really other interesting things in it as well. So lipids, there's pigmentation, pigments that we haven't quite yet resolved what they are. So our next phase of work is focused on what are the rest of the components of the biomass that helps inform us about where to really well position this product in a human market. Yeah.
And I have a question about the greenhouse gases. I'm obsessed with this issue because working with a lot of scientists, we know that we're now 6 of the 9 planetary boundaries out of boundary. We know that we're very close to exponential tipping points. And methane is the most potent greenhouse gas of the greenhouse gases this decade, 85 times more potent than CO2. I'm not talking about nitrous oxide, but so for me, I got so excited when I heard you talk about these bugs can eat methane. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit more about that? And my second question is going to be around patents, because this could be huge.
Yeah, well, we hope it's going to be huge. So how does it eat methane? Well, these microorganisms are really specific. They're called extremophiles. Extreme. Like the X-Files if you're old. Like the X-Files, extremophiles. That means that they can live in really high temperature, high toxicity and weird locations. So these bugs already eat methane naturally. So we're just putting them together, backing them onto some gases and letting them do what nature does anyway. So that's how they work. I mean, I could talk you through the whole metabolic process. Sorry?
Can you track it?
Yes. Because what happens is we have a point source. So we use geothermal power stations to point source the gases so we know where it comes from and we can measure what comes in and goes through.
Whoa. Carbon drawdown. And tell us a bit about women in geothermal, because I know that's something you do, and then I promise to stop asking questions.
Yeah. There are other people. So in 2013, this is our 10th anniversary, which I'm really proud of. I co-founded an organisation called Women in Geothermal Wing. Yeah, catchy, right? It started in Las Vegas, and it left Las Vegas. And it's basically a movement. I wanted to connect women in the industry. I've travelled to really remote locations and met spectacular women all around the world who were disconnected, never got the credit. And I wanted to connect them with other really smart, powerful women. And so we started this network, and now it's grown. It's been 10 years. Now it's grown into the single largest geothermal association on the planet. There's thousands of members in 68 countries around the world. And the one thing that I really think is really cool is that we have a 50% male membership target. Because what we know in energy, it's really strongly male dominated. And if men aren't at the table pulling us across the crevice, we're not going to get anywhere. So we're at 37% male membership, which we're really proud of, and we call them our wingmen. But the most important thing for me is that I see real change in technical rooms and women getting lifted up. So I'm so proud of that. It's the most inspiring and rewarding thing I've ever done.
Wow. Okay. Who rules the world? Thank you. All right. So the next woman is one of the coolest women I know. First of all, she's a drummer. We all know the drummers are the best people in the band. But not only that, she's also an archer. Super cool. But that's not all. We're going to hear from Mena Farouk, co-founder of Dusi, a tech-based scooter and bicycle riding platform for women and girls. Dusi supports SDGs 5. If you don't know what SDG 5 is at this point, gender equality. The SDG 8, decent work and economic growth. And 11, sustainable cities and communities. Please welcome Mena Farouk from Egypt.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Dusi, take a risk. That's what it means. My sister and I wanted to learn how to ride a scooter. Our father would willingly drive us anywhere we want. But I thought that a woman shouldn't rely on another man in order to go to her school, university, or workplace. She should do that by herself. We wanted to learn, but we couldn't find a nearby instructor. There was only one academy teaching women how to ride scooters and bicycles, but it was very far away and not convenient. We searched and found that there are many individual instructors spread across the city, but there is no one online platform that can connect customers with trainers. So we created Dusi. Dusi is an online platform through which women can book their scooter and bicycle classes online, and then they get matched with a female instructor, and then they get the training in their neighborhoods. We both empower women on the road by teaching them how to ride scooters and bicycles, and we also empower them economically by giving them the opportunity to become instructors after they finish the training with us. Learning to ride was a liberating experience for me. It helped me heal a wound shared by every woman in our conservative society. Repression we grow up with, being told that we can only be safe when accompanied by a man. Now, on the streets of Egypt, you can see more and more women ride scooters and bicycles. They even get the support from other women who see them on the road. We believe that Dusi is not just an idea that teaches women how to ride scooters and bicycles, but it's also an idea that can help us solve many of the problems that we face on a daily basis, like traffic, pollution, unemployment among women, and even healing a trauma. When life gets tough, Dusi, that's our slogan. Thank you.
This is really radical. I've worked in Egypt. So what you're doing is not only empowering women, but you're also providing them the opportunity to then have jobs which would not have been available to them before in the courier industry, etc. And you're also helping with renewables, a whole new sector. So I'm going to ask, what will it take? First of all, are you receiving any pushback? Because this is quite a radical idea. Mm-hmm. And second, what will it take to scale?
Thank you so much for the question. Actually, we received criticism at the beginning on social media and from people around us, but we tried to overcome this challenge by reaching out to famous people, influencers, celebrities, and we teach them on scooters, and that encourage people to ride scooters as well and convince them of the idea, a lot of people. So this is how we overcome this challenge. Yes, we plan to scale. We plan to scale in countries similar in culture, in cultures like Egypt, like, for example, Jordan in the Middle East. We also plan to expand to India in Asia. And I'm sure that there are many other countries as well. So we believe that we have the capacity to expand to other countries and to scale up.
This is brilliant. I really love this idea.
Thank you.
My daughter and I just got some new bikes ourselves, and we're going to be rolling around LA. Hello. We'll be inspired by you. Thank you.
Yeah.
How quickly do women or girls learn how to ride the bikes or scooters? So how quickly do you have the turn when
Yeah.
you learn, and then you can teach somebody else?
Sure. So we have 3 packages for scooters and 3 packages for bicycles. The first package in scooters is 4 classes, and the third package in scooters is 10 classes. So it depends on the woman herself. She can learn in 4 classes, and she can learn in 10 classes. But after she finishes the training, whether it's 1 month or 1.5 months, she can get another training and free training, and then become an instructor with us.
I love this idea because the idea
Thank
of freedom of transportation,
Yeah.
It's liberating. You're giving women a tool that's immediately reflected in their life by more confidence, by freedom of choice.
Yeah.
How is this freedom related to other freedoms that might exist for them?
Thank you. I believe that freedom of mobility is connected with independence. When a woman is free to go to her school or university or workplace by herself, she gets the freedom of education, she gets the freedom of having a job. So it's not only about freedom of mobility, it's also about freedom of getting a decent education, of having a good job. So freedom of mobility is connected to being independent and getting a better life, better education, and a better job.
I think it's worth it to point out at this point where we have some people working to figure out how to, gender unspecified, to bring people to the stratosphere. We have women like Minna figuring out how to give what seems to us a basic freedom, which is mobility. Thank you. And now I'm happy to introduce a mother of 3 sons. Our final honoree, Susan Blanchett, CEO and founder of Origin Air. Origin Air's mission is to create biophilic rooftop oases that metabolize toxins and purify indoor air, resulting in improved indoor air quality. So speaking of basic rights, Susan's organization supports SDGs 3, good health and well-being, 11, sustainable cities and communities, and 13, climate action. Please welcome Susan from Canada.
As a teen, I read Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, and I was horrified to learn that toxins in our environment accumulate in our bodies. I wanted to do something about it. So I became an environmental lawyer, holding operators accountable for contaminated sites. Then, at only 51, my father was diagnosed with early onset dementia. He was so healthy. He ran every day. He ate right. There were no genetic markers, no family history. He'd been a civil engineer working in wastewater treatment plants. And because of my experience in contaminated sites, I did research. If it wasn't genetic, it had to be environmental. But how do you prove that? Air moves. It's hard to measure. So eventually I decided if I couldn't litigate better air, I would just have to learn how to clean it. So Origin Air purifies indoor air. We use mechanical air purification combined with a beautiful biofilter, super plants, genetically enhanced with a liver enzyme that metabolizes volatile organic compounds. They turn these airborne toxins into plant growth and oxygen. And if you treat them right, they will work continuously, and they will never end up in landfills where you find every other filter. But I'm just getting started, because something that really bugs me is that we treat indoor air at the expense of our planet. Before COVID, building operators would pull in indoor air, and it represented 20% of our global greenhouse gas emissions. So how does this happen? When air is brought into a building that's not geothermal, it's heated and cooled. And that's where not only the expense, but also the carbon footprint comes from. When COVID happened, facility managers started to pull in more and more air exchanges. But rather than recirculate this conditioned air, they would just dump it and pull in more, like a bathtub without a plug. It's turning on a tap and letting it run all day, every day. And those greenhouse gases doubled. So my vision is a building with a huge glass biosphere, air pulled through our mechanical multi-barrier filtration with our genetically enhanced plants. We could recirculate 80% of the air in a building, which would result in a 40% reduction in greenhouse gases. It's our quadruple bottom line: people, planet, profits, and plants.
I have a question. I thought that plants, any plant, clean the air. So what's this about the liver enzyme? Can you explain?
Thank you. Yes, so this is a big education piece for us, because everyone in the world thinks their plants clean the air. But I'm really sorry to break this to you. We've done studies, and in laboratory and the field, regular plants don't remove volatile organic compounds at all. They remove nothing. So our plants have been genetically enhanced with a liver enzyme, so the same as your liver or my liver. It metabolizes toxins, specifically off-gassing from carpets, glues, paints, car exhaust. And we've proven it in laboratory over 15 years. The plants have been patented, and we've also proven it in the field.
So I'm really inspired by this, and I'm sorry to hear about your dad's condition. I'm wondering, how many plants can you grow? Like, how does this work, in fact? Because if you are genetically modifying these plants, how many can you grow? And how big do they grow? How big are these plants?
Great question. So yeah, it's not like Little Shop of Horrors or anything.
Girl, you know that's where my mind went. I was like, they're gonna have big mouths. I'm like, oh God.
It's actually a simple pothos ivy. So you've probably all seen them. They look like heart-shaped ivy. They're called the bachelor plant because you can give them to your bachelor friend and he won't kill them. Or or the money plant in Southeast Asia. And what we did was we took a really hard-to-kill plant and modified it. It wasn't me that modified it. It was scientists at the University of Washington. My legal background allowed me to obtain global exclusive rights to distribute the plants. So 4.5 years ago, I got several plants, and I've been growing them ever since. And we use
in your house? Where are you growing these plants?
No. Some are in my house. Yeah, I have some in my house. But I have a full manufacturing facility. So I started the company just before COVID. I turned into an accidental manufacturer, manufactured all my own products, and have a nursery, and have been growing the plants for 4.5 years through micropropagation, which is when you cut a leaf up into tiny little pieces from the mother, and then it keeps all the genetic disposition in it to the next generation. So all of our plants are taken from the mother generation. And then we do cuttings and yeah, right now my biggest thing is to grow as many plants as I can, as fast as I can.
Where are you located?
I'm in British Columbia in Canada.
I'm going to come and visit.
Okay, I'd love to have you.
I'm coming with Deanna, except that I don't want the Little Shop of Horrors girl, so I'm gonna wear some protective gear.
Can I buy one? Can I buy one? Are they at-home versions?
So in the beginning, I had exclusive rights to just propagate them and have them as part of an air purifier, which is why I started with the air purifiers. And I have commercial air purifiers at this point. But I renegotiated the license, and now I have exclusive rights to sell them if I want to. But right now, I'm going to be coming out with a home air purifier first, because they work best when they have air being pushed across the leaf surface. So in the future, we might sell them, but it doesn't make sense in a way to clean the air the best. So right now, I'll be coming up with a home unit in the spring, so check us out if you want one for your home. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I want to talk a little bit about the SDGs, because we've mentioned them a lot as we talked about these women. These are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and when Elise was talking about halftime, those goals have been set with a 2030 deadline. So not quite half, but getting there. And SDG 5, because we are women and celebrating women entrepreneurs, is gender equality. And it is the SDG that cuts across all of the other SDGs, including zero hunger, including climate, including sustainable consumption. And basically what it says, all of the studies have shown that if we improve gender equality, we will tackle all of our problems. But the big problem is if we keep on going the way we're going, guess how many years it will take to achieve gender equality? 250 years. And so we must support organizations like WE Empower and Vital Voices and all of the work that women like these women are doing. So I'd like to take a moment to thank all of our amazing awardees. They've been working with WE Empower for months now, and this week have probably not gotten any sleep. I'm so inspired by their work and what they're doing to change the world. I'd like to bring all of the awardees up one last time. For the voting portion of the evening. Now is your chance to cast your vote for an awardee to win $10,000. So I'm going to ask you all, for the first time, which is unusual, to actually go to your phones and look at your phones. Bring up your browser. Go to vitalvoices.org/We Empower. I'm going to give you a moment to do that right now. vitalvoices.org/We Empower to place your votes. As a reminder, you will rank all 5 awardees in the order of your choice based on clarity and impact of the vision and whether the awardee convinced you of her ability to achieve this vision. So, who inspired you? Who is leading the change you want to see in the world? Again, go to vitalvoices.org/We Empower. If you're watching on live stream, you should now see the link in the chat. So go to your chat window. Please click that link and cast your vote. Okay, yes. So raise your hands when I call your name. Diana Mbogo. Karine Senf. Andy Blair. Mena Farouk, and Susan Blanchett. All right. And I'm going to hand it over to Diane to announce the winner. Oh, take your time.
I know. I
So again, it's ranking. All right. I'm going to say their names one more time. All right, let's. Diana and Bogo. I'm going to say your names one more time. All right. Sorry, I lost that page. Let's say your name.
Mena Farouk. Karin Senf.
Susan Blanchette.
Andy Blair.
I know, it's really hard to rank.
more scalable. There's already prototypes.
How are y'all feeling?
Feeling good? Find it. Yeah. Also, it says Vital Voices for sale for $2 million. I'm like, where did you get that? Because I tried to go to vitalvoices.com. Oh, it's .org. Yeah. They should really buy this. Yeah, this is .org. Clearly. I'm like, wow. Yeah, whoever bought that and is selling it is crazy. Right? Oh, you sent it? Okay. Oh, wait. Here we go. I'll send it to you. Yeah, because I'm like, WE Empower. Oh, yeah. Because I did / Empower, WE Empower. Here. Like, where do you go? Because the link is here. I'll send it to you. Because she, here. I have here. Yeah. There you go.
Okay, everyone. Hello. Okay, everyone.
It's like Cleopatra.
How many of you in this room think it's really, really ridiculous to pick one of these 5 women? Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, right? Because they're all so amazing. And I don't know about you, but I'm leaving here even more inspired. Right? I mean, if you were not absolutely sure that women were the key to solving the world's greatest challenges and making the world a better place, I hope this was a good hour spent of your time hearing these wonderful women because, wow. Okay, I have the task of telling you who the winner is. And it is Mena Farouk.
Congratulations, Mena. So we as judges were so inspired, we decided that we also wanted to give another prize. So I'm going to personally donate $2,500 to what we have collectively decided is the most potentially impactful and scalable climate solution right now. Susan, congratulations. Congratulations, Marcia. And I want to introduce my wonderful friend, Marcia Balisciano, who is the Global Head of Sustainability for Relics. And she also got very excited during the event, and she has another amazing announcement.
Well, I think that what we need to do is bottle this evening, and if you're feeling down, we need to let off the top and breathe it all in, because this has been truly amazing, and I feel so humble in all of your presence by all of what you do. I'm here representing the 35,000 people of Relics, and we have the free Relics SDG Resource Center, where you can get up-to-the-minute news on the SDGs and content from across our business and from key partners within the UN system and beyond. And one of the things I would like to announce is that each one of these women, we are going to feature on our podcast, which is The World We Want. We will have probably by the end of this year about 175,000 unique users of this site. So we want to amplify your voices. And in addition, again, on behalf of my colleagues, and before I do that, I want to say thank you to Elise and to Amanda. Oh my goodness, Diane, to be here. It's incredible. To our amazing judges, to all of you. We would like to give the other amazing winners, because they are all winners, the other three women, $2,500 as well.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, I think it's pretty. Every one of you was so wonderful. I would like to match what everybody makes, and thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else? All right. I said anybody else. Well, anyway, I know that what is absolutely priceless is the energy and support that our honorees have felt from you tonight. I know you're going back with that, and I'm sure a lot of energy in addition to some support. I want to just say in closing a huge thank you to Diane, of course, for hosting us. Thank you. And being such an inspiration. Thank you. To Amanda, to Bose, to Nikki, thank you for lending your great expertise, asking great questions. We deeply appreciate you being here. To the team who puts all of this together. Where's Marianne from ASU? There you are. Yes. And to Bijan, where's Bijan? Somewhere. Shireen, Tunda's here, Manira's here. And the fabulous Erin Kisner is also here, who works with the honorees on their pitches. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming. If you go downstairs, you can shop. And you'll get 10% off. And another 10% will be donated to Vital Voices. So, and thank you to the phenomenal Louisella Maloney for all your love and support. Thank you.